Hello everyone, my name is Kirsten Shope, and today I'm going to provide a brief overview of the adaptive immune system. To best understand the adaptive branch of the immune system, it's best to compare it to the innate immune system. The innate immune system is the first responder when an infection occurs. It is fast-acting, usually acting within minutes to hours of initial infection. It is not antigen-specific, so cells of the system can engulf and bind them to their PRRs without having a specific type of receptor. This fast-acting response isn't able to learn or store information about antigens for later response and involves primarily myeloid progenited cells like macrophages, granulocytes, and dendritic cells. While the adaptive immune system, on the other hand, is slow-acting, usually taking days or weeks to respond. They are antigen-specific. The cells of this system learn and store antibodies for later infection and predominantly utilize lymphoid cell progeny cells in the way of lymphocytes. Now that we've compared innate and adaptive immunity, we can begin to look more specifically at the two branches of the adaptive immune system, which include the humoral and cell-mediated immune responses. The humoral immune response involves B lymphocytes, which are cells that form and mature in the bone marrow, but ultimately are stored in lymph nodes and can travel in the bloodstream and lymph tissues. The cell-mediated immune response involves T lymphocytes that form in the bone marrow but mature in the thymus gland. The thymus aids in double-checking cells to prevent autoimmunity. These cells are also stored in the lymph nodes and travel through the lymph and circulatory systems. Now we will look at each of these branches in more detail. Like mentioned previously, B lymphocytes are the cells involved in the humoral immune response and attack antigens outside the cell. These cells respond when an antigen-presenting cell from the innate immune system presents an antigen specific to that particular B cell on its surface. Once the B cell binds the antigen and forms a complex, it calls upon helper T cells to aid in differentiation. B cells can differentiate into plasma cells that produce antibodies or memory B cells which store antibodies and can be used if reinfection occurs later. Next, we'll look at the cell-mediated immune response. The cell-mediated immune response involves T lymphocytes. When a T cell is presented with an antigen by an innate system antigen-presenting cell, helper T cells immediately go to work differentiating the appropriate B and T cells. These helper T cells release interferons and interleukins that also help with the immune response. Aside from becoming another helper T cell, the cell can differentiate into a killer T cell, which detects the specific antigen and kills antigen-containing cells, a memory T cell that functions much like a memory B cell, or a suppressor cell, which uses negative feedback to adjust immune response. This concludes that brief overview. Here is my reference and photo credits if you're interested.